Remote roles you didn't know existed. Today we are talking about assistants, and the tagline that I wrote with this is saving the sanity of the entrepreneur or manager. And assistants really can do that because they can manage so many things that are important and need to be taken care of, but are sometimes a little too overwhelming for an entrepreneur to manage on their own. So some of the things that they can do within their responsibilities are handling emails, managing a calendar and doing scheduling for that, managing phone calls or making phone calls in order to maybe make appointments, or taking notes, organizing information, ordering supplies, pulling reports. The list goes on, and there are so many helpful things that an admin assistant can do to help move a business forward to support an entrepreneur. I talk a lot about how entrepreneurs deal with decision fatigue, and when there are so many emails or so many meetings that they need to attend and schedule, if they can just show up to those meetings and already have some notes ready for them, if they can only look at a smaller number of emails that really need their eyes, whereas everything else can be dealt by somebody else, that can take so much pressure and so much weight off of that entrepreneur so that they then have more bandwidth to create more products and deliver a really great service and do other things that they can use their time for. So in my opinion, every single business owner and business can use administrative help. Even if we talk a lot about remote businesses here, but I think that administrative assistants can be used and be very beneficial in a lot of in-person businesses. Like photographers are excellent at their craft of taking photos, and sometimes they also do the editing themselves. That takes a lot of time to do. If they can have an admin assistant who is managing their emails and is doing scheduling with clients and things like that, then they can totally focus on their craft and they can make more money, they can grow their business, they can better serve their clients. Same thing for other in-person businesses like landscapers. I don't know if this is true for your area, but in my area, it's been very common for landscapers to not follow through, not show up. And if they had someone who's helping manage their client communication and scheduling so that they could focus on what they do best in doing landscaping and evaluating landscapes and planning and designing them, then maybe their business would continue to grow past what it currently might be limited to. Other in-person businesses that this could apply for are maybe massage therapists, like taking phone calls. If someone is calling to schedule a massage, but you're the massage therapist, maybe you're in a massage, or you have multiple massage therapists working for you. Having someone who's dedicated to managing the phones and scheduling appointments can be really beneficial so you don't miss out on potential clients. We want to pack up your schedule, right? So another in-person one that I'll mention is medical offices. So there are so many different types of medical offices that could use help from a virtual assistant to either do callbacks, do follow-ups. Sometimes assistants can even set up little automations in order to send reminders and things like that. But maybe someone in the office or the doctor themselves, if it's a small practice, has no time to do that because they need to be spending their time with patients. There's so much that is needed to run a business that an admin assistant can make a huge difference in helping a business, especially if it's in its early days, be able to grow. And then if the business is larger, being able to alleviate weight from someone who their time is really better spent in other places. They provide a really valuable service to any kind of business. And going into the online sphere, there are so many different kinds of online businesses. I can't possibly talk about all of them, but here are some categories. Bloggers, if they have a large blog and they do a lot of writing and they do a lot of speaking, maybe they're on podcasts, they, again, don't have the bandwidth to do all of these things. Content creators, any kind of content creators, this might be someone who you might consider an influencer or a TikToker or wherever they are on their platform, they need help with these things too. Maybe with that, it might be more responding to comments or something like that, or just keeping an eye on comments. The influencer, the content creator can know which comments to reply to, something like that. Other service providers, in my business, we offer services to clients on a variety of different topics. So admin help is very beneficial for staying on top of leads, getting back to clients, that kind of thing. And course creators is another one in the online sphere as well. So being able to help with customer service is something that an admin assistant can also do, since that's typically over email. Sometimes that's over chat. to help support students. So lots of things that an admin assistant can do and benefit a business. Another thing on here that I've never actually seen it called this, but an admin assistant can serve as a gatekeeper. This isn't typically a title is what I mean, but it's a function of the job. So especially if you're a protective person, you could create a role for yourself as a gatekeeper to protect whoever the person is that you are protecting. That might be like we talked about with these different business owners. Business owners need help to manage their time, their resources, and sanity. So if you can step in and do these things, it can be very beneficial for them. The larger a business gets, the more they market, the more it attracts attention as well. So the more messages that they're going to get, that might be across a lot of different platforms, the more that you could help with that, the more benefit that the entrepreneur will get, the more appreciative they'll feel to you. Another thing that can happen is even if they don't market on things like social media, if they say market on LinkedIn, a lot of times they will get messages and emails from salespeople trying to sell a product or service. So if they don't actually have to look at that, unless it's something that could truly benefit a current or solve a current problem that they're having, that's really beneficial for them. They don't have to weed through and sort through. Another thing that can come in is podcasters wanting to have them on the podcast. Another type of assistant that can be really beneficial that I actually don't see very much that I think needs to be utilized more is this concept of a personal assistant. A lot of assistants will do more of the work for the business, but personally, a lot of entrepreneurs can really use a lot of help. There's a lot of appointments that still need to be scheduled, groceries that need to be ordered, different things along those lines to help the entrepreneur function at their best. Because again, going back to the concept of decision fatigue, they can experience so many decisions that need to be made that it's hard for them to even take care of themselves. So having someone who can assist in that way, even fully virtually, like I said, you might not be able to run to the store if you don't live near them, but you can actually order groceries for them to pick up so they don't even have to think about it, or different things like that. There's a lot that you can do to support someone. So if you have any experience in those areas, even just personally, even if you haven't been paid for them, you can create a role for yourself to support a business owner who really needs that help. And if you're a business owner who doesn't currently have an assistant of any of these types of assistants, I would highly recommend that you look into hiring one. Let me know if this video was helpful. Let me know what follow-up questions you have. This is just a series that we're getting started here, so very much looking forward to hearing about your comments and questions. A couple of things I just remembered that I actually didn't mention is around like hours and potential pay. So hours can potentially, for an admin assistant, vary. It could be as little as maybe 5 hours a week, maybe even less than that, up to a full-time job. And then as far as pay, I think the minimum that I tend to see is maybe around $15 an hour. It depends on if that is a 1099 or W-2 role. It can also go up to, I think I've seen 30 or sometimes more depending on the seniority of the assistant and the level of security of information that they need to manage. Lots of things that can run the gamut there, but it can be a really good introductory role if you're just starting to get into remote work. And if you're an entrepreneur, it can also be a really good first hire or much later hire if you already have other team members to help you and spend your time the way that you need to be spending it and help protect also your mental sanity. Again, if you have questions or comments, please leave them down below and keep an eye out for the next video and please subscribe.